Good morning, Mixed Media. Today I'm going to go over with you how you get started on your linear toothpick project. You should all have a bundle of toothpicks. There are at least 100 in there. I counted them out for all of you. I threw in some extras, and that's going to vary per person, but I did give you some extra toothpicks. You guys are more than welcome to use more if you have them, if you want to do more and make a bigger project. So here's my finished example. It's a little hard to see right now. This is what it ends up looking like. My example ended up looking like. You can use the styrofoam base, or you can make a sculpture that's freestanding, meaning that it stands on its own. So you built it structurally so that it is something that actually comes up off the table. Make sure that you all watch and go through my Google slide presentation, because that will explain the project. So as far as the project itself goes, you are going to determine what your unit is going to be. And what a unit is what you're going to make your project out of, all of these units that you make. You have 100 toothpicks. You can use 2 to 4 toothpicks per unit. So there's some examples in there, but your unit could be 2 toothpicks. Oops. Your unit could be 3 toothpicks. Or your unit could be 4 toothpicks. And whatever you choose for your unit, you're going to make all of them first. So if you use 4 toothpicks and you have 100 toothpicks, you're going to make 25 of these. If you use 3 toothpicks and you have 100 toothpicks, you're going to make 33 of these, because they'll be 99, 33 or 34. So either an extra one or just one short. And then if you use 2 of these to make some sort of your unit like that, if it was going to be a twofer, then you have 100 toothpicks, you have 2 of these, you'd make 50 of them total. So the first thing you do is make all of your units before you do anything else. And to do this, you're going to use the glue that I gave you. You're going to squeeze it out into a small puddle on your wax paper. Make sure that you do this on the wax paper that I gave you, or if you have some at home, but make sure it's wax paper, because I'll show you right here. This is the example I made this morning in class. If I lift it, it's stuck to the wax paper. I can carefully lift it up with my fingers, and it won't rip the paper, and it won't get stuck. So it won't stick to the paper. It'll carefully lift off because of that wax that's on there. So make sure you use wax paper. If this is regular paper, it would be a mess, and it would be ripping. So you're going to put a little bit of glue on here. You're going to set up what you want to do as your unit. You can also make a drawing of it and then slide it underneath the wax paper if you wanted to have that to lay your toothpicks on top of. Now, because you're doing it on the wax paper I gave you, you're going to be limited to how much you can do in one class. You can only do as many as you can fit on here, and then you need to let them dry. Once they dry, peel them off and make your next set on there. So because I gave you some extra toothpicks, what I did is I used a toothpick as my glue applicator. You can dip the toothpicks directly into the glue, but it's a little bit more messy to do it that way. So this way I could just put my drops of glue, and this does get a little frustrating because you are working with the glue, and it does just get a little messy. Drops of glue, sit your toothpicks exactly where you want them, and you leave them. A little bit of glue. Sit your toothpick exactly where you want it. And then you let it dry. So then I would make as many will fit on this piece of paper, and then that would be what I would do for the class that day, because if you obviously can't make them elsewhere, you have to make them on there. And then I would keep using this one toothpick as your glue toothpick. Also make sure if you go back in and see if this glue has leaked out anywhere. And while it's wet, try and wipe it up or move it around. If you also notice that there's not glue there, take a little bit on the toothpick and kind of wedge it in where you can see it. You obviously do not want to take your glue and then glue it directly onto your project, because it will turn out a mess. Craftsmanship is really important with this. This is abstract. This is sculptural. So none of it will be related to how well you can draw. The big thing that's going to make or break your project is craftsmanship, and that's going to be getting rid of glue, excess glue, and everything. So glue them all, make them, fit them wherever you want them to. Make all of your units first. Then once you've made the units, and they are dry, then you can start thinking about how you want to lay out your final project and how you want to get them together. So these single units are like a building block, or like if you think of like Legos, you have one Lego and you keep building them. Building blocks, you've got one block, more, add your blocks together. So these are the same idea. You make all of these first, then figure out how you want to get them together to make your project.